Hey guys, Sean again, Custom Offsets TV on the YouTube. I have my boy Kirk here. Hey Kirk.
What's up?
You guys said you wanted to meet more owners, so here's an owner. This guy works at Custom Offsets. He's pretty cool. He does customer service. He fixes all your problems. Magic?
Pretty much.
It's magic. He's got his Ford F150 on 8.5 inches of lift, 35-inch tires, 20x12's. Let's go!
Big trucks decked out, rolling through the wood and it flexed out. Rims so big and the windows black, got the knob all lit up, double chromed out stacks. Yeah, we love to get them dirty, but still they so clean. Custom Offsets team stands as the genie on top of it now. We ain't never gon' fade, so you better get ready for taking over the game.
So I've got 2014 Ford F150 EcoBoost. 2013, but that's why you're here. Get it?
I'm here to help.
2013 EcoBoost FX4 F150. Now you've got 8.5 inches, so I understand a 6.5 inch McGaughys?
Correct.
So where's the other two coming from?
I swapped out the stock strut with a 6-inch BDS lift strut and then added a 2.5-inch Top Gun
right?
Customs on top. Correct, the
Strut.
inner liner strut,
Yep.
inner strut.
Swapped.
And then a 2.5-inch Top Gun Custom leveling kit on top for a total of 8.5 inches.
So you're stacking a leveling kit on top of a lift kit.
Correct.
I was told you cannot, should not, and that's a no-no.
As long as you're not stacking the two hockey pucks, they call it themselves, the two leveling kits.
Yep.
Before, this used to have the OEM strut with a 6.5-inch spacer.
Yep.
So I took out the spacer, swapped out the OEM strut for a 6-inch lift strut, and then added the 2.5-inch Top Gun Customs leveling kit. So I'm not actually stacking any leveling kit hockey pucks as which they frown upon.
Yep.
Just adding the 2.5-inch to a lift strut.
But here's the other one I hear is angles. When you stack a lift and a level, you have problems with
The CV angles.
CV
Correct.
angles. How'd you fix that?
I did a lot of math, and once I found out is that the front drop bracket drops the truck the 6.5 inches that I need.
Yep.
So when I added that 2.5 inches on top of the 6, I'm technically stretching it only 2.5 inches, which is equivalent to adding a 2.5-inch leveling kit to the factory suspension, which is within spec.
Okay.
So pretty much all I did was stretching it a little more than as in a factory would with that 2.5-inch leveling
With a level.
kit.
So with this particular truck and the way this lift kit works, it's okay.
Correct.
It's not something you can do no matter what. You have to pay attention to those factors,
Correct.
right?
If I went up to like a 3-inch, then I would be pushing the CVs more than I should, and most likely would break a CV axle.
And then you added the ProComp upper control arm.
Correct.
Does that fixes things too, doesn't it? Because doesn't that give you a different ball joint angle
Yep,
upper?
it gives a uniball instead of the whatever the stock comes with. So it does ride a little smoother.
Okay.
It takes the angle a little better, so it's not as stressed as the factory components.
Okay. So 8.5 inches, it's a 13 F150, and then you're running 20x12 fuel hostages.
Yep.
And I have to do my build test, it's part of the plan. I have to move some things. And then you went with 35's. Why did you do 35's instead of 33's like all the other kids?
Wanted to shove them in there. I didn't like the look. I did have 305 55's originally, and I just didn't like the look, so I was like a little over a 33-inch by 12.5.
33.5.
Yep. So I just didn't like how it looked. Wanted to fill up that wheel a little more, and then I actually added the 2 inches to it later on.
So Junior, it looks like that's about a 5-inch lip on the 20x12 negative 44 fuel hostage. And then the 33 12.5s are trail graps?
Correct.
So Nitto Trail Graps. Now, and that's a beefy tire, so how much trimming? It looks like you had to take quite a bit off the bumper.
Yep.
Is that plastic or
No, that is metal.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually did that trimming before when I was only on 6.5 inches of lift with just the 20x12's and 35's.
Okay.
And then when I went up, I still need to trim, I still rub, but I have 2-inch spacers on as well.
Okay, so you got 2-inch spacers all 4 corners.
Correct.
So you're basically running 14 wide negative 76 on a 35 because of the spacers.
Exactly.
And that's where you still had to get into some trimming
Exactly.
on 8.5 inches. Anything on the back? Does it hit on the back at all?
Nope, back is
here?
clear. I just catch, I should say barely. If I turn into a parking lot, obviously I can catch it.
Okay.
I could fix it, but it's not big enough issue for me.
Yeah, I don't usually see any witness marks,
No.
and you've had that on there for a while, haven't you?
I usually just catch the bottom right here. I could take off another inch or two, but it doesn't bother me enough to do it, so.
Okay. And I know you had the ADD bumper.
Yeah.
Is there any reason you took that off, or you just kind of ran it for a while and you're over it, or?
Yeah, wanted to change up the look after I got 9 tickets, or nine warnings and 4 tickets from the Wisconsin Police Department. I decided to change up the truck a little bit, make it a little more legal.
What? Because the bumper just made it look more aggressive,
Yep,
so it was.
they could tell the tire was sticking out
Yep.
a lot more. So
Yep.
then I ended up going with the fender flares,
Oh, that's right.
bushwhackers.
Yeah. Yep, you've
So I
added
pretty
those.
much changed the entire truck to make it look more legal than it did before. So I
Okay.
haven't been bothered since. So
And how much would you say you stick out? Probably, if you asked the state of Wisconsin, not under 2 inches, right?
correct, yeah.
If we were to actually look at it, though, it's probably 4, 5,
Yeah, if you count the sidewall, yeah.
even out past the.
Yep.
Yep.
So before I didn't have the flare, so obviously it was sticking out about 7 inches or so, and they definitely could see that.
Okay. So I think that, that's the fitment. It's an 8.5-inch lift, 20 by 12, -44, but it's on 2-inch spacers, so it's closer to like a 14 wide, -76. And then 35 12.5 did take some trimming, especially up on the front bumper. So that kind of does fitment. Now, why don't you tell us, I mean, you've done everything, right?
Yeah.
You want to just kind of
I've done
walk
quite a bit.
around and tell us, are the tow mirrors stock?
No, they're not. I added the tow mirrors. I added the Rigid Industries SAE approved fog lights. I really like the pattern of them. I added the A-Series Rigid Industries as well.
These guys?
Yep, they're just amber lights, kind of makes it look like a Raptor.
Yeah,
I
and
did
those
that.
are super bright. I've
Yep,
seen those.
400
yeah.
lumens a piece. Putco 20-inch single row light bar in the grill.
So that's hiding here, Junior. Check that out.
And then also the 40-inch behind the grill.
That's hiding way back there, Junior. I like that you did kind of the tuck away. You used to have the 50-inch on the roof?
Yep, I used to
Okay.
have a 50 and a 40 dual row.
Why did you dump the 50?
Legality reasons, and just phase kind of went away.
Were they messing with you for a cover? Oh, really?
They said because it was above the center line of my headlights, it needed to be covered. And I just had it for 2 years and decided to change it a little bit.
Yep. I think I'm seeing that, where the 50s are kind of fading out and then the behind the grill stuff
Yep,
is becoming
exactly.
more and more popular. And I think you said this was pretty simple, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Using one of our brackets.
No stock brackets. It mounted perfectly in there.
Right off of what?
It looks like the grill bumper guard. There's
Okay.
2 little bump stops in there.
Oh, straight up and down.
Yep, so I
Yep.
just unscrewed them, used the stock bolts that were behind there, and it fit in there perfectly.
Those aren't typical light bar mounts, though.
No, the Putco comes with the really short stubby ones.
Okay, which is a lot like the custom GMC ones we
Exactly.
have.
We were going to use those, but the stock ones actually ended up working for us.
Okay, so if that was a dual row with the typical Chinese feet,
Yep.
it would need the specialty
Exactly.
brackets. And then headlights, those are stock, right?
Yep, those are the factory.
Hood?
Cervini hood. It's actual true ram air, wide open in the front, as the coolers in the back wide open.
Okay, cool.
50% windshield tint with a 5% visor, 20% on the side windows.
Nice.
The decals were made by Justin here at Custom Offsets. It's actually a 3-layer Custom Offsets decal. And then if you can see the ghost stripe that came from factory from Ford.
Yep, this one here.
Yep. Track bars are from ProComp. It also has a 1.5-inch Add-A-Leaf from ProComp in the rear as well.
So what is the rear? It must be only 6.5, because it looks like it's level, isn't it?
It is
still?
perfectly level, yeah. Did a lot
Okay.
of math to figure that out, because the 6.5-inch McGaughys lift actually sits slightly lower in the rear.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then when I bumped it up 2.5 in the front, 1.5 in the rear is what I needed to level it out.
And then it ended up level.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the taillights were custom built by Kevin Duane,
Okay.
Retro Customs.
Cool.
Completely.
I think
random
these
design.
function with the blinkers, don't they?
Yep, the C-bar, and then also the OEM bulbs blink
Okay.
as well with the blinker.
Cool.
Just some crazy design that came up that actually worked out pretty awesome. Just LED cubes underneath. They're hidden way under
Oh,
there.
yeah. So you got the black labels hanging under
Yep, those are black label lighting, reverse cubes actually mounted perfectly on there. And then I also have Lux Lighting complete underglow kit.
there? Okay. And you have it in the grill too, don't you?
Yep.
Yep. Cool
Besides-
truck. Cool
yeah.
truck. Very cool truck.
Besides that, that's the main things that I can think of.
And you've messed around with some tuning and whatnot, and you said that is a functional.
Yep, that's functional.
Ram
Ram air hood.
Cool.
I have the AFE Stage 2 intake, Unleashed tuning, 91 performance tune.
Very cool. Sexy truck. When you getting wheels? Fuel Haas has been around forever, bro.
As soon as I get paid a little more.
We will not be giving Kirk a raise, so that's all we have here for our spotlight at this 2013 Ford F-150. Hope you guys liked it. Let us know what you think about hanging out with Kirk. We can definitely get rid of him if that's the problem. Peace!